wanted to read a little excerpt from my journal that I wrote one day. I published this elsewhere, as a matter of fact, and I wrote it when I returned from the war. Which war? Well, I'll just leave it at that. But I'd like to read this to you, and that way I can have this out there. And it's called Resolution of a Former Idealist. Pardon me for looking down. I'll be reading this below here. We are vagabonds from truth, deceiving ourselves into believing that we are not hypocrites, fleeing from the principles we so vociferously claim to defend. No, it is even viler. In the name of protecting the principles we espouse, we trample them into the dirt, spoiling them with the blood of those also deceived, whom we send to fight our wars of hypocrisy. We have allowed ourselves to be bought, promised that what we take from others we will receive ourselves, with a greater measure added. It is all a lie. And, as a result, we have alienated the world and, in trying to force our sophistry upon them, brought dishonor to ourselves and the principles upon which our honored unselfish have died. We spit upon the remembrances of our forefathers and shake hands with those who would imprison us for the recompense of but one day's labor. We sell our posterity for the gains of today, denying them the fruits of the sweat of their own brows even before they are born. Is it actually the cosmos that now seeks to require us to pay for our folly and our distortions, guised in the faces of desperate men? The label on the bottle still pretends to be true to its contents, but the contents have been changed. We mock our own words and our own heritage. The universe will bring a day of reconciliation, and we may not, as a nation, abide any longer. My soul cries out from the violence of our lies, the pretense of our standard flown on the staff made from the bones of our victims. Those who know should testify against the leaders of this nation, indeed against all those who have raised their hands in support of their crimes and deceptions in order to gain unrighteous advantage over others, even their own countrymen. The hour is late, and the world sits upon the edge of the precipice, teetering and ready to fall to its destruction. And we of this land, bear the burden of guilt in bringing it to pass. Our leaders claim that it is a duty to export our culture to the world to free them. But in reality, it is to make mothers, sons, and daughters the new workers and taxpayers to the regime, trading one form of slavery for another and calling it liberty. How in the name of liberty can we deny it upon its inception? Indeed, how can we pretend to give what we do not possess? We have changed our language, using words defined in secret to ensnare the unwary. Instead of honor, we have sown dishonor. Instead of offering hope, we have administered only our own will, which we predicated upon lies and distortions. In short, if we had the sacred, we sold it for the profane. This has not been a recent endeavor. This has been our history for at least 60 years. Any with the will to see and the courage will admit the truth. Nothing can stop what is coming. What you sow, you also reap. But who will change? Who will abide the principles and save the day? I fear it is all lost. We have shown to the universe that we are unworthy, and cause and effect will be a bitter testimony to the truth of our degradation. Merely, ladies and gentlemen, because we may live in the best place in the world doesn't mean that we don't want to make it better, that we don't want to shirk our responsibility to set the example. And you can't set the example when you use force. We use it on our own citizens. We have more people in jail, in prison, in our country than any other country in the world per capita. If you doubt those are political prisoners, check the facts. It's how you define it. I fear it is all lost. I don't know what the answers are, not right now, but I trust that we'll find them. And ladies and gentlemen, I decided to sit on the stairs here as a symbol of that hope. We cannot depend on our leaders, not the ones that have been in power, not in the false left-right paradigm that keeps us warring with each other. We need to look at what's right. We need to return to our basic, fundamental principles. We need to be friends with each other, to trust our neighbors, to trust our families, to grow our own foods, to make our own things that we need. We have lost our way, and only by doing those things can we get back. And finally, it is not wrong for the people to demand accountability from their government. The government is to be the service of the people, in the service of the people. The states, the people, created the government, not the other way around. It is the people that are important, not the corporations, not the corporate state, but the individuals that make up our communities, our families. Those are the people that are important. Those are the things that matter. And if government does not protect them, then it is a government that is not doing its job. And by protection, I don't mean protecting us from an enemy that lives in a cave 10,000 miles away, that doesn't have the power to stand down NORAD. And I could go on. No. I mean, really protect us. Allow us to enjoy our liberties, to do them, not to restrict them, not to tell us that we have to submit our rights so that we're secure. Benjamin Franklin said that people that demand safety and security over freedom deserve none of them. Well, that's all for now. Thank you.